Welcome to This Explainer. Today we're going to unpack the invisible forces that literally dictate your everyday buying habits, from that afternoon ice cream cone to high-end designer clothes. Have you ever wondered why certain products just fly off the shelves while others sit there gathering dust? Or why a sudden price drop makes you suddenly buy two of something you didn't even know you needed? Well, today we're going to use the core principles of microeconomics to decode these everyday choices.
Okay, let's dive into our roadmap. We'll start with decoding the marketplace, move into the law of demand, look at some exceptions to the rule, uncover what truly drives your demand, and then wrap up by connecting to market demand. Let's get into it.
Section 1. Decoding the marketplace. To understand why we buy what we buy, we first have to establish where these transactions actually take place. So what exactly is a market? It seems like a simple concept, doesn't it? If I asked you to picture one, you'd probably imagine a bustling farmer's market with physical stalls and fresh vegetables, or maybe a massive digital storefront. But shifting our perspective on this question is the absolute first step to thinking like an economist. Here's the crucial point. A market doesn't have to be a physical place at all. It's really just the collective interaction of buyers determining demand and sellers determining supply. Take the market for ice cream in your town. The buyers aren't all meeting at the exact same time, and the sellers are scattered all over the place, offering slightly different flavors. Yet together, they form a market. And when there are so many buyers and sellers that no single person can dramatically impact the price of that ice cream, we call that a competitive market. Section 2, the law of demand. Now that we know where the action happens, let's introduce the golden rule that governs consumer behavior within that space. Before we look at the law itself, we need to define quantity demanded. This is simply the amount of a product you would buy in a given period if you could buy all you wanted at the current market price. Now, the law of demand is the negative relationship between that price and the quantity demanded. Think of this concept literally like a seesaw. When the price goes up on one side, the quantity demanded absolutely must go down on the other. It's a fundamental negative relationship. Price rises, quantity demanded decreases. Price falls, quantity demanded increases. It's that simple. Let's see how this builds into a formal, downward-sloping demand curve. If ice cream is $3, you might buy 0 cones. But follow the logic downward. If the seller drops the price to $1.50, your quantity demanded jumps to 6 cones. That is the law of demand in action. Section 3. Exceptions to the rule. Because, human behavior is complex, and sometimes the basic rules of economics seem to turn completely upside down. To understand the exceptions, we first have to understand the literal tug-of-war happening in your brain when a price changes. When a product gets more expensive, you experience the substitution effect. This encourages you to buy alternative, cheaper goods. But at the exact same time, you're battling the income effect. Because the price went up, your disposable income is effectively reduced, which lowers your overall demand because you just feel less wealthy. Usually, these two forces work together to reduce your demand, but not always. Now, what's truly fascinating is how extreme poverty and extreme wealth both completely reverse the normal law of demand. First, consider a Giffen good. In very poor communities, if the price of a staple food like rice goes up, it eats up so much of their limited budget that they can no longer afford expensive luxuries like meat. So, to get enough calories, they actually have to buy more rice even though the price went up. The income effect wildly outweighs the substitution effect. On the flip side, you have a Veblen good. This is ostentatious luxury. Think designer clothes or sports cars. Here, as the price rises, people actually buy more of it because the high price signals better quality or higher social status. Crazy, right? Section 4. What drives your demand? It's time for a twist in our story, because price isn't the only thing that dictates your demand for a product. We have to strictly separate a movement along the curve, which is purely about price, from a shift of the entire curve, which is caused by outside factors. This is a critical distinction that trips up a lot of people. If the price of a product changes, you just slide up or down the existing line. But if your income changes or your tastes change, the entire line physically moves on the graph. Let's look at an example. If a new tax makes cigarettes more expensive, say raising the price from $2 to $4, you simply move up the existing line. You're buying fewer cigarettes purely because they cost more. This is a classic movement along the curve. However, what if a public health campaign successfully changes people's tastes and really discourages smoking? Imagine what happens then. The entire demand curve shifts to the left. Even if the price stays exactly the same at $2, the total number of cigarettes smoked drops heavily. The fundamental relationship has completely changed.
This handy table consolidates exactly what causes these changes. As we've seen, price just moves you along the line. But look at all those other variables: your income, the prices of related goods like substitutes, your personal tastes, your expectations about the future, the number of buyers in the market. Every single one of those physically shifts the whole curve to the left or the right. Let's isolate income for a second, because it has a fascinating dual nature. As your income shifts higher, your demand for what economists call normal goods goes up. You buy more nice dinners or nicer clothes. Actually, scratch that. It's also true in reverse. Your demand for inferior goods actually drops. Inferior goods are things you only buy because you're on a tight budget. As you get wealthier, you stop buying them, shifting that specific demand curve entirely to the left.
Section 5. Connecting to market demand. Finally, let's look at how all these individual personal choices stack up to shape the broader economy. Market demand isn't some abstract, overly complex corporate number. It's literally just the addition of what every single person decides to put in their shopping cart. It's the sum of all the quantities demanded by all the individual households shopping in the market at a given price. And here's the grand finale of how it all comes together. Catherine's ice cream cravings plus Nicholas's ice cream cravings seamlessly combine to create the total market demand curve. If the price is $2, Catherine demands 4 cones. At that exact same price, Nicholas demands 3 cones. Add them together, and the total market demand at $2 is 7 cones. The market curve is simply the horizontal sum of the individual curves. It really is that elegantly simple. So, as you go out into the world today, consider whether you are simply moving along a price curve or if your own personal tastes, your expectations for the future, and your income are shifting the market entirely. Are you reacting to a substitution effect? Or are you maybe buying a Veblen good just for the status? The economy isn't just numbers on a page. It's a mirror reflecting our daily choices. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep questioning the forces behind your cart.